Welcome to Yes Also. I'm Suzi Barrett. My guest today is Jon Mackey. You know Jon as 1/4 of the improv and sketch powerhouse Big Grande and their improvised podcast, The Teacher's Lounge, or as the host of his other delightful improvised podcast, The Brett DeMott Show with Buddy, which he does with David Brown. I've known Jon for years as part of the LA improv scene, first at IO West and then UCB. I'm a huge fan of his improv, and it was really cool to hear him break his process down and talk about seeing the piece as a whole and try to do what's needed for the scene at hand instead of just trying to be funny. And in part 2, we talk at length about his experiences creating improvised podcasts. He has some really helpful takeaways and insights there. And if you want to hear that but you're not already a subscriber, please head to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You will immediately unlock all of the part 2s of all of our episodes, along with tons of other bonus content. I promise it's worth it. If you want to support the podcast for free, you can easily do that by going to YouTube and subscribing to us there for free, or by leaving us a review or rating. All of those things help us out a lot. For pics of Jon from throughout his comedy journey, go to our Instagram at YesAlsoPod. And for more Jon, make sure you check out his podcast, The Brett DeMott Show with Buddy, or check out what Big Grande is up to over at BigGrandeWebsite.com. Without further ado, here's Jon Mackey. Jon Mackey.
I'm here.
You're a legend and you're here.
Oh, no, I'm not a legend.
Well, you're here.
I'm a myth. I'm a Bigfoot-like myth.
Yeah.
And proof I do exist. That was a clip for the camera.
Until that footage mysteriously gets compromised then
all digital artifacts and I disappear.
Yeah, every important thing that needs to be photographed, someone dropped the film in the water or it got overexposed, and we can kind of see the outline of Bigfoot.
Yeah. There's a big indentation in that seat, so there's something sitting there.
Something huge
is there.
Yeah. Let's dive in.
Oh, we're here.
We're
ready.
I've known you for years.
Yeah.
I don't know your improv backstory. I remember seeing you on stage at IO when I was doing IO stuff out here. And then you showed up also in the UCB world, and we have intersected ever since. But I don't know where you started in improv or what your legend is.
I started in improv out here. I didn't do it in high school. I didn't do it in college.
Where was high school and college?
I'm from North Carolina. So I went to had a really small high school, 800 people in my hometown, Columbia, North Carolina. Okay. Shout out, lots of swamp.
I feel like I know of a Columbia, South Carolina.
There's Columbia, South Carolina, which is an actual city. Okay. And then there's Columbia, North Carolina, which is basically a river, and then the place where people showed up to collect water, and then a little town started, and 800 people.
Because it was too far to walk back with the water things.
Basically, yeah.
And you're like, why wouldn't we just make a little town here?
Yeah, so it's a very small, 1 square mile kind of situation.
1 square mile, a well, 6 buckets.
Yes, very Amish.
Is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
It's very every stereotype you would think about the South, my hometown is pretty much it is that.
Great.
It's people who are hey, how you doing? And then just hate each other behind their backs and just all the bad things
pies on windowsills and racism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Racist pies everywhere.
Racist pies.
But yeah, so I grew up in a really small town. There wasn't really any sort of comedy opportunity there. Me and my brother and my sort of core group of friends, we were music guys.
Oh.
So I was in bands my whole life.
Doing
I was
what?
in a band. I played bass in a band in high school.
Cool. What was the band's name?
This is really good and smart. It was we were called Patterns of Age. Our website still exists. angelfire.com/band/POA. I was in that band with my brother. We were called Patterns of Age because there was a freshman, me, a sophomore, our drummer.
Oh, I'm starting to see
junior,
a pattern here.
Our singer, and a senior, my brother. And so we were called Patterns of Age, and we all we did was rehearse. And we rehearsed in my friend Matt's dad's photography studio.
This sounds so cool.
It was,
this is real freaks and geeks territory.
If creativity was celebrated, it would have been great. But we were just weirdos. We all of the people who knew about our band were friends of ours from other cities, and we would go and play with our friends in like a city that was like an hour north of us. And then like we did one show. We did 2 shows in my hometown. One we put together. We played 3.5 hours at the Scuppernong Community Center. We played like 37 songs with a 30-minute break in the middle. And it was like 19 original songs and then like 20 covers.
So it's 5.5 hour set.
It was insane in hindsight. But yeah, so I just did music. I was like a music guy.
Yeah.
And like we all like liked comedy, and like SNL was big. Like Super Troopers was like a movie we watched all the time. Tommy Boy, like big Tommy Boy, Adam Sandler, David Spade, Chris Farley, like that era of comedian. We all loved it, and we would like shoot little like SNL parody kind of. We would parody SNL.
Smart. Yeah, nothing had on a hat about that.
No. But we would like shoot little videos and stuff, and so we were funny. And I always was funny, but it was never like, it wasn't like a intentional thing. It was kind of just like, that's just my personality. I'm like kind of goofy and whatever. And then I went to college and still was just, I was music only. It was like, music is my creativity is music. I only make music.
And was it your goal? Were you aiming, you were going to be in bands your whole life?
I mean, I would say until I moved here, my only goal was to like get famous as a musician. I like in college I was in 6 different bands. I was like touring. I got to do very cool stuff playing music.
Yeah, this is nuts. Why the hell did you stop doing that?
Well, it's a really funny story, and it's related to Ryan. When I got into comedy out here because I moved out here in the summer 2008, and I moved out here with a guy I was in a band with, because all of our friends from college were moving out here, and I was like dating someone at the time, and I was like, the record store I worked at in college closed.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I got nothing here anymore.
What's even the point?
Everybody's moving. And so I moved out here just on a whim, like basically following my girlfriend at the time. 4 months later, we broke up.
Worth it though, dude.
Yeah. And I was like, now I'm here. I have nothing that I came here with, basically, except for my like one music friend. And I was kind of like sort of separating myself from this. And I was like, I have to do something else because I don't have a life here.
All I have to my name is 4 strings and a dirty hat.
Yes. And the dirty hat's still here.
Yeah.
But so then I was like, it was like that situation of just like, I had this idea of what my life was going to be. I moved here. Me and my buddy were still in bands here. We were like touring and doing stuff. And I broke up with my girlfriend at the time. I was sad. And I was just like, I need to meet new people. And so I took a UCB 101.
How did you find that and come up with that as your idea?
My friends, I had 2 friends who did improv at UNC. I went to UNC Chapel Hill. That was right after college. So I had friends from college who did CHIPS, which was like the Chapel Hill Players, their like improv team there. And so I knew I had seen them perform many times, and I was like, that's fun. And like, it felt like there was like a very tight-knit community there. And I was like, that's nice. And then my buddy who moved out here with me that same summer started taking UCB classes, and he was very like sort of adamant that he was like, it's like the best thing that I have done since I moved here.
That's great.
It is like not even from like a changing your worldview or changing your goals kind of thing, just like a like way to like meet people who are like fun and looking to meet people.
Yeah, 12 new buddies to go out and get beers with.
Yeah. And so I started taking a UCB 101 with Joel Spence. He was my 101 teacher. And I met in that class so many people who I were like immediate friends. Like I there was a group of like maybe 6 people who ended up taking 101, 201, 301, and 401 all together. It's
great when that happens, when you have like a little cohort that you move through the classes together.
Yeah. It was incredible. And so I like found this whole new world where I was, and at that point it wasn't like I'm going to be a comedian. It was just like, I need friends.
Yeah.
I'm sad and I need friends.
And they were like, hey, that sad guy is asking if we have plans and we keep blowing him off. Should we let the sad guy come to Birds with us?
We'll let him come one time.
Okay, all right. Don't let him see where you live, though, because I had to move. He kept knocking on my door.
He has shown up at 3 different apartments of mine, and I've never told him my address. But yeah, I met like really cool people in like 101, and then in 201 is when I like really was just like, oh, maybe I like doing this like as like a thing I could pursue. At that time it wasn't professionally, it was just like, this is like my like big hobby. Because like music was like still hard to do. I was in a band at the time. I was like doing comedy. I started like a little practice group that was like, still to this day, people that I'm friends with. Jess Jardin was in my like on my first serious quote unquote practice group. We were called Fat Magic Bear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We were around for
I feel like I've
for a while.
Coached you guys or sub-coached you.
You sat in a couple times and coached us.
Yeah.
It was like the first sort of group of friends that I made out here that weren't college friends.
Yeah.
And it was like very like, oh, these people get me. Like we're real friends. It's not like there's nothing else other than like, we just like hanging out and being friends.
This is going to sound like a bit question, and it's actually sincere.
Great.
But it can be a bit also, but I really mean this earnestly. Given your background in being in a ton of bands, was there something fun and easy about naming improv teams for you? Because you had named so many bands.
I was actually, no band name had ever been taken so as seriously as naming that practice group. Like most of the bands that I was in, the name existed before the band like was even really doing anything. Like,
the name existed in a place before time.
Exactly.
We just discovered it by being a channel that was open to the thoughts of the universe.
Exactly. We all sat it in and out, ate French fries, and waited to know what our band name was called.
Patterns of age.
But yeah, so
but people took naming the practice groups so seriously.
And every group I've ever been on, like naming your group is such an important thing. And I'm just like, I don't care that much. I've never been somebody who's like really that, like I was on a group called Fat Magic Bear. Of course I don't care very much.
Yeah.
But like, I was just shocked at like, one of the guys on the team made like a spreadsheet, and we like voted and like blind voted and then counted, and then there was like 5 like options, and then we like did another vote, and it was like whittled down to like 2 options, and then we did like another vote, and it was tied, and then we had to talk about our opinion. It was so crazy
for a practice group
that like hadn't even done a show yet, at a time when there was only 2 or 3 indie shows you could do.
Yeah.
And so we took it so seriously, and at the time I was like, yeah, I guess this matters. This thing could be a thing, even though in hindsight it's like that thing would not and could not ever be a thing.
Yeah.
but it was just this like feeling of just like we all felt so. It was like everything. I mean, we were 23, 24, 20. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But everything mattered so much. Everything.
Yeah.
Matters so much at that age, because you're like, this could be the thing. So
when did you fully tilt, like put down your guitar and pick up your object work guitar?
So this is the part that relates to Ryan. So Big Grande started. Has the story of Big Grande ever like been spoken about on the show?
Ryan, basically, from Ryan's point of view, but so not like from yours. Yeah,
me, Tarver, and Lippert did a 3-on-3. We started writing together. We brought Ryan in to like be part of the group. Big Grande became this sketch, like dream
Juggernaut.
team. Like we were like, I mean, I don't like to think about it like that, but we did kind of blossom in the like post Kiss from Daddy, Birthday Boys era, and kind of did become the like group that people were like, oh, this is like the sketch group that's doing stuff. And so we were like, I felt like Big Grande was becoming a thing, and the actual moment, there was like a singular moment where I put down the real guitar and I picked up the Spacework guitar and said, this is my dream. And it was, my band was going on tour. We had a West Coast tour. It was like 14 days, like 14 shows, like all up and down the West Coast. And we booked it like 9 months in advance. Like touring, you have to do it so far in advance. So it was all booked, all these shows, great shows that like the singer songwriter in the band, Casey, put together. He had great connections. We had this awesome tour planned for the West Coast. A month before we like leave for tour, Big Grande gets into San Francisco Sketchfest, and our dates overlapped with the last 4 dates of this tour.
Bum, bum, bum.
And I, in my mind, was like, I have to like pick one. And I picked comedy because at that point I had like started to like visualize a path towards comedy being like a thing I could support myself with, and music had still always just been this thing that was like a grind, that there was no guarantee that you would ever get any sort of I would never I didn't have the feeling that music would be a thing that I could support myself with, but things had started happening with comedy, and to me, getting into San Francisco Sketchfest was the thing that was just like, and in hindsight, it's an insane thing to think would lead to anything huge, but it was like...
You were starting to get heat and meetings and potential script deals, and the murmurs of stuff starts happening in a way where you're like, oh, there's just feels like there's a lot more doorknobs here than there.
That's exactly it. It was like I can like see 10 ways to like doing this for a living if I go this direction. There is one path this way in music, and it is being stood in front of by a bunch of people who hate musicians, like actually. Is
that your read on, is that LA crowds, or is that just your read on people who go see music? They hate musicians.
I think it's more the music industry. I think I think the music industry is like full of people who don't actually even like music. They just are like, what'll make me money? And so it was that feeling of just like no one would hear us.
Right.
No one could hear us as when I was in a band, no one was listening. As a member of a sketch group, tons of people were starting to listen.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I have to make a choice between these two things. I can't like live this like sort of 2 lives where I'm literally like running from like one show to another show. Like I got a jaywalking ticket running from a improv show to a music show.
Hardcore.
It was so fucked up, man. But it was literally like I was literally being pulled between these two things that I was very passionate about, and I'm still very passionate about music, but it was kind of just like seeing one sort of build up pretty quickly, and then another thing that was kind of staying at a similar level. And I was just like, I kind of have to jump on the rocket.
Yeah. Is there something to also like improv and sketch being like even more subculture-y and more niche in a way that like when you pack a room for your Big Grande show, you know that it's people who are there because of the love of the game and not just like people who wandered in and are like, oh, is there music tonight?
Yeah, there's like a specific intention to an audience at an improv show. There was like palpable like energy in comedy, and music was like, I was putting so much into it and getting a reaction that made me feel bad about myself. People being disinterested, like putting a bunch of work into preparing for a show and having only like 12 people be there. And that happens in improv. But the thing that really drew me to improv and comedy in general is that it's almost not about the audience. Like it can be about the people on stage that I'm on stage with.
You can have fun independent of their reaction or using their reaction or both or neither. But it's like you can have an experience that lights you up and is novel and new and a ride, instead of just like playing these things you've rehearsed and not getting energy back and
zero. Or in the worst cases, like negative reaction, like people screaming over your set to like talk to someone at a bar. It's like that never happens.
I do that at improv shows.
And
I go to improv
give you a
shows
pass. I give you a pass. You've paid your dues. You can do whatever you want at these shows, Suzi.
And I'm the type of person who, when I take a meeting, I want it to be in an environment that I love.
Right.
And then if your show is loud, then I have to scream over you.
Yeah, we've done a few shows, and you've seemed to have like just a revolving door of like people, like, and not even like meetings for like professional stuff. It's kind of just like, it seems like maybe interviewing like a housekeeper.
Yeah,
a couple times.
sometimes.
Like,
and I don't necessarily need a housekeeper. I just want to see what's out there.
Yeah, no, I get it.
See my options.
I get it. Yeah. I often interview people for jobs that don't exist just to see what the possibilities are.
Just to see.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Because then there's no, like in your mind, you're coming at it completely with no expectation. Right. You're like, I don't need you.
And the way I start all of those meetings, like I interviewed a carpenter last week. I don't need anything built. The way I always start is the same. Sell me.
Yeah. I don't need anything built, but if you play your cards right, I'll think of something.
Yeah.
I'll think of a place to put a chair.
Yeah, of course. I'm smart enough. I can come up with a place to put a chair. Yeah. You need to sell me on why I need that chair. So you landed on the Herald Team Winslow,
yes,
which is such a delightful team. And do you feel like that changed or helped your improv in any way? You guys have such good chemistry together.
Yeah. The first like 3 years of me doing improv, I didn't understand it at all. Like I thought it was like this like contest to be the funniest person on stage. Like, if we're all trying to be the funniest person on stage, the show's going to be fucking great. It was like kind of this like, let's all be fucking funny.
Let's
and
all say a joke.
Yeah. Like I was like, I have to, like, in every scene when I walk on, I got to do the funniest thing. Like I got to do the funniest thing, and everybody has to know that that's the funniest thing. And then my teammate needs to walk on and do the funniest thing. And we all just walk on and do the funniest thing. And I think getting on Winslow was like the big lesson from Winslow was that team is like, yeah, it was 8 people with like arguably some of the most like viscerally funny people I've ever met in my life on it. Like Echo Kellum is one of the like most viscerally funny people I've ever met in my life.
100%.
Like Drew Tarver, one of the most viscerally funny people you'll ever meet in your life. Gilly, like I could list every name. Gilly, one of the funny, like viscerally funny, and everyone has their own way of being like the most funny person in the world. And it was, my experience getting on that team was like teams don't need 8 of the most viscerally funny people in the world being funny all the time. And I think that was like where my style of improv, which I think I've sort of evolved into, sort of really started to sort of take shape. And like the way that I sort of visualize myself on Winslow was like ice trays, and I'm just like water filling in the holes. Where it was like I like viewed myself as like, I need to like find what's missing in this moment and like slide into that.
What a great metaphor.
Yeah.
And that's what you would describe your style of improv as?
Yeah.
Is like the filler, the what's needed.
I'm filler. But in like the best possible way.
Yeah.
In that,
and
like,
I don't mean it in a reductive way.
Yeah. And I think this is a thing that I have like now it's like, I don't think it's conscious at all, but there was this like, I think you can only like step out and try to be funny after someone else has been funnier than anyone has ever been and not be as funny as them before you realize like, I actually need to just come out and help them be funnier.
Yeah.
And that has become like my sort of like improv like mantra, is just like help them be funnier.
How does that show up in a practical way for, especially like, because a lot of our listeners don't live here and haven't seen Winslow, like do you have memories from recent shows or like concrete examples of like that kind of mentality showing up on stage, or that practical?
I think the ways that it tends to show up for me is that is like base reality stuff, is straight manning in like a fun way. Or also just like sort of stepping in with like the line that sort of gives everybody the like sort of clarification of what the game is that we're playing.
Gotcha.
The like you're all doing it, but like the audience and we all kind of all need to know. So let me just kind of like walk on as like the waiter in the restaurant that like labels the thing that the people eating are like doing that is unusual.
And you mean just literally like a gentle call out, like, I'm sorry, sir, are you saying that you both have to eat barefoot or whatever the unusual behavior is? You're just like underlining it and
that's a big part of it. And then I also think in Big Grande specifically, it's a different thing. In our like sort of improv, like with our podcast, like with the Teachers Lounge, the role that I have sort of like taken on in that group is because I am never going to be as funny as Drew and Dan and Ryan. They are the funniest people I've ever met.
But so are you.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I know that I'm funny. I don't think I'm not funny, but I know that like if I'm trying to compete with them, I'm going to like come up short most of the time.
Yeah.
But if I help them continue to be funny, we're all having a better time. And so the role that I sort of play in a lot of our podcast stuff is the guy who is moving things, is like my character in the Teachers Lounge is like a character that is like very funny when it comes to like looking at me, but I'm the one who is like adding the new piece of information that moves us on to the next topic, that realizes when a bit is like sort of falling and is like, okay, let's move on to this next thing. And I think that has sort of become my role, and it is also why I think I got into directing and got into like that side of things, is because I think my brain doesn't work in like how can I be really funny right now? It works in a like, how can we make this thing better?
Yeah.
Kind of way.
What world can we set this in, or how? Yeah, that is very directorial.
Yeah.
What's the big picture here, and like what do we need next? In those moments in a Big Grande like scene improv, like you guys just sit down and improvise with microphones, basically. Yeah. So in one of those riff sessions, so a bit is coming to its natural end and you know it's time to move on. Are you just introducing something new that's like a neutral thing that would be logical? Like we're all at a birthday party and this bit about the gifts has kind of like worn out its welcome and you're like, okay, time to do cake, and you just kind of bring in this idea? Or is it more like you are specifically like, are you doing any comedy writing that will lob something for one of these characters?
Totally. Like that. And that I think is where I kind of exist. I exist in this world. And it's with the podcast that I do now that you've been on, that Ryan has been on, the Brett DeMott Show.
I love it. It's so good.
It's an interview show, which I think in improv, when you're interviewing someone in character, it's like, that's tough. You're like asking me a bunch of questions. I have to like answer all these questions. But the way that I look at it is like, you're not answering questions with nothing. You're answering questions with information that I'm giving you.
Yeah.
I'm like shading the question with information. I am like shading your response with new information about your response that gives you something else to jump off of.
You're
like,
so good at it.
Yeah.
It made it so easy. When I was on the show, like it made it so easy for me to improvise. I feel like you did all the heavy lifting.
Well, that's like truly the thing that I have like come to like really pride myself in, is that I think anyone who does improvise with me comes away from that experience being like, whoa, that was like easy. It was easy to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm always making it easier for other people by hearing them and like pushing them further down the road that they are going on in a way that is like almost transparent. Like I never want it to feel like I'm being like you should do this thing. It's like being like, what's the question I can ask this person that gets the response that I know is the funniest thing?
Yeah.
It's the leading question of like, they don't do X, Y, or Z at that place, do they? And then the person's like, they actually do. And then we go down this new road. It's like, and I take that into like all improv that I do. It's like, it's recognizing what someone else is doing and why it's funny, and then like throwing whatever type of fuel it needs.
Right.
And then when it's done, being like, okay, now I am always conscious of like base reality stuff. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's move away into something else that makes sense.
Did you always have this like fine attunement to game, or like when did game? Because this is very like game based. It's you recognizing what's funny or unusual and being able to like define that for yourself like right away and being like, oh, this is fun. I'm going to announce what the cat toy is so that we can all put it on the table and play with it.
Right.
And then the ability to know like what buttons to push to get people there or like to lob things to them. Like what is the softball that you can pitch? When did that codify in your brain?
That was it was a Winslow thing. It was during Winslow. Because in my early improv days, in the Fat Magic Bear days, I was the opposite of this. I was, I want to be the first person on stage. I want to be the person who says the first thing. I want to be the person that everybody's reacting to. But then getting on Winslow and doing improv with people who are so confidently funny and weird. It was just like every scene we were doing, the unusual thing was like a fucking nuclear bomb that went off on stage. Where I'm just it's obvious to me. And so I just got very good at like seeing what's the funny thing. And like heightening has never been a problem for me. I've always been like, once I know what's funny, I know I know how to like go bigger.
And you have the benefit of in your past like comedy DNA of being informed by Adam Sandler movies and Tommy Boy, and those movies are so good at playing character games, heightening to the absurd, using physicality.
Yeah, and like literally just do more. It's like that's like the thing that I when I do get to be funny, my brain is always just like, just do more, do more, be louder, be more upset. Be more upset is really, that I think is like most of my comedy boils down to be more upset. Like that's
I think that's got to be your pull quote for this episode.
But it's true. It's like because upset to me is like it is not a specific emotion. It can be anger, it can be sadness, it can be frustration, it can be so many different things.
It's just,
and it works in so many contexts. So if you're just thinking, just be more upset about this,
right? Move the needle, push it somewhere. Yeah.
But I'm also always when improvising with other people, I'm like, how can I make that person more upset?
Right.
Like, what's the thing that I can make them more angry or more like excited or like more or sad or so it's like and that all of that sort of like real sort of like hyper sort of awareness of game, I think happened because of Winslow and having Fernie coach us for so long. And he was so like drilled us so hard on like what are we playing here? Like, what's the game? What is the unusual thing? Let's like state it out loud. And then like years of that and playing with these people who are just so funny, it was just kind of my brain. I became very good at observing what was happening. Yeah. You guys with Fernie is such a great combo because Winslow, especially when you guys were first starting out, as you said, it's a team of like big charismatic personalities in a bunch of different directions. And you guys are all like very ticklish people. I could see that team in the wrong hands becoming just undisciplined and messy. And to some, I think we were that even when we were like when Fernie was coaching, like we were bad. Like I would go back and like, if I go back and like watched early Winslow Heralds, I'd be like, this is bad. It's bad improv. Like we're being crazy. That would be true
of any of us watching any of our old Heralds. Totally. Like we were all bad.
Yeah, we were crazy. We didn't understand. We were just flailing. Like there's this like level of flailing that only exists on like the first year of Herald Night, where you're just like, I need to do it good, but I can't. I'm crazy.
Yeah. It's that feeling of like running on a barrel. It's like it's going, and you just have to kind of like.
That is so. It's such a good description of doing a Winslow group game. It's like, what the hell's happening? So I think that like Winslow was like a very formative experience to me in terms of finding like who the like Jon Mackey kind of into the future improviser would be.
What do you think the next evolution is? Do you have your eyes on any sort of shifts and changes that are happening now, or where you want to go as an improviser?
I really like being good, but in like a art sense. Like somebody watching a show and being like, holy shit, that was like funny, but it was also like, everything made sense and it was really good. And it was like a good show that I could like sort of walk away from and tell someone else about, and it wouldn't be like what like describing a dream.
Right.
Like I would love, like that's what I want. Like my dream is to like do things that people are convinced are intentional, purposeful art.
Yes.
like, and that's like, I think that like Big Grande at our best is close to that.
Yeah. Making an improvised experience that feels as gratifying and complete and mind-blowing as something that was planned and written and directed.
Yeah.
Is that?
I think that's like what I would love. I would love to like do shows that like leave people with like more than just like, that was a good time.
Right. Or in other words, I like being good, but in art sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
That resonated with me. The way that you said it.
Hold on. Wait.
The way that you said it right then really like it like clicked. It really clicked for me.
But it's like what a great aspiration, or what a great, and I do think you already play like that. Like
yeah, I try.
Yeah. Let's use this to dovetail into directing, because you sort of nodded to it before, but I want to let's move into that. Like, talk to me about directing.
So I like very early on in like the Fat Magic Bear days, it was like when the like sort of boom in like DSLR, like home, like consumer digital video became like, you could do good stuff. Shout out to both of these cameras here. But so I bought a camera like it's like 25 probably. It was like right as like Fat Magic Bear was like, we're gonna start like making sketches. We're gonna start shooting stuff. And so I started just making crap. Like because I didn't know how to, I'd taken like media production, film production classes in college. I knew how to edit. That was like always like the skill that I was like, that's my fallback. I'll become an editor. And so I just got this camera and I started making all these like stupid videos myself. I made a series of videos with some friends, with Allison Fields. Do you remember Allison Fields? I haven't seen her in so long.
Very hilarious.
Just one of the funniest people in the world. And we made this like series of videos, in 2010. They were called alt rock fast food, and it was just fast food commercials set to 90s alt rock songs.
I love a simple idea like this. Yeah.
And so like we did we did one that was like set to that like Fuel song, that like In My Hands, that song, and it was just me and her eating In-N-Out. And like she gets ketchup on her hands at the moment that it like breaks into like in my hand, in my hand, and it's just her looking at it, and then like me handing her a napkin, and she like wipes it off, and the song cuts off, and we're just like
In-N-Out
eating, or like a breakup, like where like you're breaking up with your boyfriend because he likes Carl's Jr. more than he likes you. It was like very stupid ideas, like a training montage for eating 20 chicken McNuggets, like it was like that stupid stuff set to like Everlong, or like just the stupidest jumper at a Taco Bell when like eating Taco Bell is like suicide for your butt was the idea. So it was like a reverse commercial for Taco Bell. But we just made these things on our own, and that was like where my brain was. I'm just gonna make stuff. And then I made a video with Renee Goubet. Again, one of the funniest people on the planet.
And now an Emmy Award-winning writer.
Yeah. I made a video with him where it was like he was playing Harry Shum Jr., a guy who was like a background dancer on Glee. And it was like a mockumentary thing of him auditioning to be a background dancer on Glee. And it was just this like mockumentary thing. And I was like, man, I'm actually like getting kind of good at this. And so I started like trying to like make quote unquote good stuff.
Like good meaning like you wanted it to look better, more professional. Like this could slide in to like compete with anything that's like on TV or whatever.
I was like, I think I could do cool, like good, real sketch stuff for the internet, because this was also in the time when like Funny or Die was like in its upswing.
Yep.
And I was like,
what a time to be alive.
I mean, it was literally the best times of our lives, and we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
But then I was just making a ton of stuff, and then I was working full time at Relativity Media as like a vault guy. I would dub tapes of of movies to send to trailer houses and like all that kind of crap. And they laid me off. And I was unemployed. And I was just like, I'm going to go hard on like making stuff. And so I just started making a ton of stuff, like making sketches and like stuff like that. Like, and that through like making stuff and posting online, meeting people, I got in with Funny or Die as an editor initially. And then after like maybe 6 months of just like doing great work for them as an editor, a buddy of mine who was working there was just like, hey, we have this video with Rick Ross. Do you want to direct it? And I was like,
You're
yeah.
like, no, I'm busy.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'll edit it, but I don't want to be on set. And so they like just let me direct this video with Rick Ross, huge celebrity, like big Funny or Die video that was like, I have no idea why they did it, but I did. And it did pretty well. And then I just started getting like called back for like stuff through them. And I like got to do and like so much fun stuff at Funny or Die. Like I directed like videos with like Kristen Stewart and like Jesse Eisenberg and like
fun.
All this cool stuff. And it was like such a fun time. And I got, I've always been like a like jack of all trades, and I would direct these things and I would edit them. I'd do the whole thing like all the way through. And I built up this like huge portfolio of just like, I mean, 100 sketch videos. And it was like, not even until like, it was like, I didn't even view myself as like doing that professionally when I was doing it professionally at Funny or Die. It was like still just like, I don't know, we're figuring it out.
That was kind of the vibe of that building though too, and that whole venture, which was what was so great about it, was it had that feeling of like, we're just friends getting together on the weekend and making something.
Yeah.
And we're
making
all in our
almost
jeans
no money
and hoodies. And we're making almost no money.
Making almost no money.
That helps for it to not feel professional.
Begging our friends to come in and be in a video that I can pay you $10.
Yeah.
But it was just like happening. And I didn't even see it happening, where I was like becoming a director, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And then I made my first short film 10 years ago. That was like a fully self-funded thing. I like put a bunch of money into it, made a short film. It was me and Haley Huntley.
Oh, Haley.
Yeah, back in the day. Like it was great, a super fun experience. And then that sort of, I can't even like picture or remember the moment where like I started like seeing myself as like a professional director. It was just kind of this like slow, gradual, like kind of overlapping of like, now I'm doing this thing and I'm looking back at like the road and being like, well, when did that happen? Yeah.
It's like trying to like pinpoint a spot in a river or something. Yeah. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Which molecule of that moving thing?
Yeah. And so, and it has been, I mean, it's my favorite thing in the world to do.
And it's such a good synthesis of all of your skill sets and all of your loves and passions, because music is a part of directing as well.
I like compose stuff for my own stuff all the time.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's really great. And it is like, I think the thing that I kind of always think, I am like, I think like top of my list of like things that I enjoy is like collaboration. I like can't do anything by myself. Literally, I just can't. If somebody's like, hey, go write this thing, I'm like, no, of course not. But if they're like,
you asshole.
Yeah. Why would you ask me to do that?
Why would you tell me?
Yeah. But the second they say like, hey, do you want to write this thing with that guy you think is funny? I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I can do it. And so like directing to me is like the ultimate collaboration. It is like, it's taking, and the thing that I've always said is just like, my job as a director is to like make sure that everybody around me is the best person. And then I get to look good because I've picked all the best people to do all the jobs. And I know that's like minimizing my role in it and like saying like I don't do anything, but there is like an element of like what I am good at as a person is like appreciating people's worth and communicating their value to me.
Yeah.
And making people feel comfortable and confident to do their thing.
Right.
Like that in my improv and everything. It's like, that is like, I think my like the badge I'd put on if anything, it would be like Jon Mackey, really fun, good collaborator.
What a great, yeah. That's how I would describe you too. Yeah. And if you really boil it down, like that is what a director's job is. Like they are literally, them and the DP, shining a light on someone and then putting the viewing hole of the peephole of the world on them and being like, look, here's what I want you to see. And look
at this great thing we're all getting to watch right now.
Look at this. Thank God you moved to LA because this is such a creative melting pot of all of that kind of collaboration.
It's been great. Honestly, it's been pretty good.
Honestly,
I think it's been pretty good so far. Yeah,
6 out of 10.
6. 6. Why not?
Pretty good. How has the practice of improv and the skills that you've learned from improv, how has that informed your directing style or helped it or changed it?
That's a great question. And I think like a lot of people when they're asked that question would be like, well, it's like you can really like think on the fly and make things funnier or whatever. But that's like such a small part of it to me. Like that obviously is like, I'm very good at like being like, the joke's not working. Can we like, where I can talk to an actor and get it to work. But like weirdly and this is like maybe a boring and kind of sad answer, but the way that I think improv has helped me most is in the type of work that I do, the directing that I do, commercials, branded content, working with brands, working with like people who aren't funny. The types of things that they want and they ask for are insane. And I have to take information from someone that I completely disagree with, that I think is so stupid, and then synthesize a way to do it in a way that doesn't make me angry. Like, and that I think is where like improv has really come in, like really helped me as a director, is to like do things that suck in a way that I enjoy, like that I can kind of be proud of, because I'm not, I'm yes-anding a bad idea from a executive in a way that at the end of it, I'm happy with it.
The same way that like if you're playing in a jam and someone says something absolutely bananas that like doesn't fit in this reality, you have to fall in love with that idea and double down on it and be like, you know what, Grandma, we are riding a sausage. Here we go.
And then the sausage riding scenes, it ends up being a pretty good scene for a scene about a grandma riding a sausage.
You know, in terms of that whole genre of scenes, and we know there's a million grandma riding sausage scenes, but in terms of that, it ends up being
probably the best one.
The best.
Yeah, probably the best one.
And you know, you got there from falling in love. In a practical sense, what does that look like? Like, what do you actually do to synthesize and make stuff that you don't hate? Like, what's your approach?
I think it goes back to distilling. It's like distilling what someone else is asking for. Like being like, if somebody's just like, I don't like that. Like, we need to do it this other way. It's like, okay, well, let's take a step back. What don't you like about this? And if somebody can very specifically tell me what they don't like about something, I can find a thing that I like that is different than the thing that they don't like, that we both go, oh yeah, that is actually pretty good. So it's like, it to me, it's like somebody coming in and being like, I don't like that he's like laying down in the bed. This is a stupid example. I don't know if it's going to be
so invested. Yeah. We cannot change the example.
The beginning of the commercial when like the guy sits up in bed. I don't like that he like just sits up straight. Like okay, well, what don't you like about that? It's like, I don't know. It feels like too much like Don't Wake Daddy or whatever. Like I was like, okay, well then why don't we like have it start with him like sort of standing up out of bed with his arms like raising his arms up like I'm still waking up. It's the same thing, but it's a different visual for you.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I think, going back to the skills that I have, it's like talking through something with someone and like not hating their idea visibly.
Yeah.
And like and making them again feel comfortable. Because that's like they're comfortable to share their thoughts and opinions because they know what's going to come back from me is not like, that's stupid, you're bad, that's wrong, no way.
Your immediate default response to whatever they say is, okay, great. And what do you not like about that? Or okay, sure. And
how do we get somewhere? How do we sort of like slide this thing over?
Yeah.
to a thing that we're excited about.
The other half of the equation is that there's a, and this also fits with improv, a lack of preciousness from you. Oh. You're not strong-holding your idea, being like, I can't believe they cut this sit up in bed. I storyboarded that. Yeah. Like, that's the crux of this whole thing. Yeah. You're going we can let that go.
Because it's like, it's like this like trust that like I have myself, I think about myself as a talented person. I have talented actors. I have a talented DP. I have a talented crew. I have a talented art department. People who can do anything. I don't have to like be like hold on so hard to this vision I had for this thing.
Right.
Because if it's any other thing, it'll be bad. Like that is the lesson. I think that is actually the real lesson in improv.
Yes.
Of like early John, Fat Magic Bear John, was like, I have an idea and we have to like play my idea. And like new me 2025 John is like, there's a lot of ideas.
Yeah. Let's
Which one do we like? Oh, you guys like that one? Great. Let's do this one.
For part 2 of this episode, go to yesalso.supercast.com. If you like this podcast and you want double the content, head over to yesalso.supercast.com and subscribe. You can also help us out for free by subscribing to us on YouTube and talking us up to your improv communities. If you have a question that you'd like us to answer in one of our Q&A episodes, or a topic that you think would make a great bonus episode, put it in a 5-star review. If you're a theater who would like to host us for a live recording and improv show, let us know at yesalsopod@gmail.com. A very special thanks to our producer, Ryan Rosenberg, audio and video editor, Brian Kessler, and Britt Faye, who does our marketing. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week. No, we won't, Suzi. That's not how podcasts work. They won't even see us. They will listen to us, so it's actually the opposite of both things you said. Thanks for listening, and you will listen to us next week. Maybe. We don't know.